welcome to Adobe Live. I'm Ash Huang, a designer here at Adobe. Happy to have you here. We're here with Pek Pongpaet, and we'll be coming at you live for the next 3 days, same time, same place. So let's break the ice. Who do we have in the chat? Maybe say hi and where you're from. Hi, Sam.
Hey, Sam.
How are you all doing? Well, thank you so much for joining. All right, we've got a lot to cover. So in terms of schedule today, we're going to have a daily challenge, and that's today and tomorrow. And then Thursday, we'll have our portfolio review as usual. Let's see what we have. So we'll have hand lettering with Kim, and then we'll have the daily creative challenge with Howard Pinsky, and then again, UX design with us, Pek and me. All right. So,
Kyle, I used to live in BC myself.
Oh, Chile,
Nice.
Nigeria.
Yeah.
Wow, very international crowd, which is amazing. So
Hi.
welcome.
Selamat datang to Malaysia. Nice.
Oh, Sioux Falls, I have been to Sioux Falls. It's very nice. All right, so let's get started. Just a reminder, we will have the challenge, and you can click on the challenge tab for details. It's right on the little edge of the chat there. So, you want to talk a little bit about yourself, Pek?
Sure. My name is Pek Pongpaet. I would say I'm a designer light these days. I used to be a designer, but now I mostly run Impekable, which is the firm I own and operate. We've been a design and development agency for 7 years now, 8 years, going on 8 years. It's getting there. Yeah, 7 years plus. I started as a freelancer, organically grew that agency. Now we'll probably breach 50 people end of this year.
Wow.
Yeah, and some of the cool stuff. Just recently, we were named top app development company in San Francisco, so that's pretty cool. We're not the biggest, we're not the most profitable, but we're probably one of the most trusted, most reputable. Yeah, so that's all kind of stuff that happened very recently.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. How did you decide, like, I'm going to start a company?
I did. I was freelancing, and I tell people, like, I had 3 clients, and they all wanted, like, 40 hours of work from me. So I was working, like, 80-plus hours for about 3 months, and I thought, I'm going to keel over and die if I keep doing this. So I hired my first, just junior designer to kind of help me with the light stuff, and she worked part-time. And that worked out really well. But I still had the same workload, like nothing changed. I just took on more work. So that didn't really improve my life situation. So I said, let's hire more people. And we finished the first year with kind of 2 people working.
That's awesome.
And then just organically grew that.
Awesome. Well, for all of you in the chat, if you have any questions about the business and starting your own business, I'm sure Pek would be happy to answer any of those.
Yeah, I'll keep my eye out, so we can talk a lot. I have a lot of perspective and experience. You shouldn't make your own mistakes. Learn from my mistakes. So if you have thoughts about freelancing or starting your own, feel free to ask that in the chat.
Awesome. Yeah, and for all of you asking about that XDCC sticker, I think that was a special sticker, but we'll
That's
look
pretty
into
awesome. Yeah.
if we can get some of those. Well, awesome. Pek, what are we making today? Or do you want to go into your work a little more first?
Yeah. So we're in the business of doing. Part of our business is designing software, and then the other part is building the software. If whether you're a freelancer or you're thinking of starting your own agency or consultancy company, I think it's important to not only do the work, but eventually showcase your work in the form of a portfolio, design showcase, or a case study. For example, if you go to behance.net/Impekable, we showcase our work. So like we create case studies of works we can show. So, here we have the Apple Watch OS UI kit that you can download on apple.com. We did some work with Twilio, some work with Netgear, the Google Sheets for Adobe XD plugin, the Interaction Design Day website for Adobe and stuff like that. Where half of the work, the business of design is doing the work, but then in order to get more clients, you have to talk about your work and showcase your work. So today we'll be talking about, so we have one of the things that we have yet to showcase is we did this retail website for a Thai retailer, Central Mall Group. They're one of Thailand's biggest retail groups. And we did their entire website redesign, and the site's been out for half a year now, and we're so busy that we haven't really had a chance to do the case study. So when Adobe asked me to come up here, I said, okay, well we'll just get this done, get 2 for 1.
That's a great forcing function. A lot of people are actually asking about clients that you mentioned it. When you were starting out, how did you get your first clients?
You should always get your first clients should be people you know. When you first start out, you have no reputation. Your agency, your company has no reputation. Trust. I would say brand equals trust over time, right? So when you first start out, you don't have a lot of trust over time. You don't have a lot of time yet. Your company's new. So you have to build trust over time. So who has your trust over time? Well, people you already know. So when we first got our first customers, my first customers were people that basically they already knew me and they wanted to work with me anyways. And so we built that reputation, and then you kind of have these stepping stones and you get bigger and better clients over time.
Makes total sense.
And then the other part of this is promoting your work, going to making sure that you showcase your work. Because if they don't see it, we have probably whatever you see in the case studies, there's at least double that many waiting to be showcased. We just don't have the time to showcase all that work. But because you're busy doing client work. So that's the other aspect, is making sure you carve off, this is great for when you have downtime, when you have slow times, take your time to promote your work.
Yeah, so when you're not only looking to finish your case studies, but even when you're hiring designers maybe, what do you think makes up a good case study?
That's a great question. And I would also turn it to you. One of the things is showing your work and explaining your work and what the problem was, what the problem you were solving. A lot of times people showcase, the screenshots or maybe just a few of the screenshots. They don't really go deep. Try to go deep into what problem you were solving, what the clients are hiring you for, what makes you kind of special in terms of, for example, for us, a lot of enterprises hire us because we have, as you can see, good visual aesthetic design. Our strong focus in enterprise. So as you can see, there's probably not a lot of consumer design, and we focus a lot on enterprise, so we're very attractive to enterprise. So that's another thing you want to think about, is when you can't be good at everything, so you have to pick a focus. So for us, our focus is designing for enterprise, designing software applications for business use, for example. So a lot of our clients tend to look like the Twilios and the Netgears and the whatnots of the world.
Yeah, there's a lot of work to be done there.
Yeah.
We have a question also, which is, what skill would you look for in a junior designer?
Fabian says he used to go to Central. What skills? I think hunger, adaptability, self-motivation is key, and being able to take feedback. So be able to, if you're highly opinionated, but you're good and you have lots of experience, that's great. But that doesn't work so well when you don't know a lot. You have to have an open mind and it's not just, even with people with experience, we work with customers where we don't have any industry experience. We We work with pool companies where they engaged us to design their app, for example. We don't know anything about pools and pool hardware and pool pumps and like water softeners and like those things. Like I don't know anything about it. So we're not the industry experts. So we have to listen to those people and listen to your customer. So you have to be very, you're not going to be an expert in everything. They're looking to you for expertise in a very specific thing, but at the end of the day too, they also bring a lot of expertise. Yeah. I mean, I would turn that to you as someone who's, worked at some amazing companies like Twitter and Pinterest. When you look at a younger designer, and you're going to hire for those roles at those companies, what do you look for?
Well, I would definitely echo the hunger as a young designer. I think that energy is one of the best things someone can bring. And I do think the process part that you were talking about, both in the portfolio and as a person, it actually has a lot to do. There is this temptation to show off that glossy end photo, right? Which is great for getting clients, but when you're looking for a job with other designers, you can talk shop a little bit.
Yeah. I'd like to add maybe like being able to defend your design and explain your design. We had a designer we were interviewing, and she had great work. And when we asked her to explain it, she was like, well, it just looks so great. It just looks so simple. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, well, why is it great? Why is it simple? Why is it clean? Like, talk to me about how you arrived at this design. And those words that really don't tell me much kept coming up. So we ended up, even though we liked your visual aesthetics, I don't think it was the right fit for us.
Yeah. And we have a question from Isabella. What would you recommend a student that would like to open up their own creative business after graduating?
I think you learn a lot. I think it's great experience. You'll get to learn all these things that you don't know, because I think being a designer working at some place, your task, your role is just as a designer. When you open your own business, you have to deal things, you have to learn a little bit about business, you have to learn a little bit about sales and marketing. So you become a more well-rounded person, I would say, because you just have to wear so many hats, in a business. Yeah.
And then also from Anthony, would you rather look at a resume or portfolio when hiring?
I glance at a resume. I want to look at their portfolio, and I also we like to try. I call it try before you buy. But we almost never just hire people just from their resume and portfolio. And same with engineers. We want to try working with them as well. Mm-hmm. So we usually will hire them, like on just a small engagement, maybe even a week. And we'll, it's not just about not their work, but also how they communicate, how they work with other people, do they take feedback? So all those variables you can't really see from a resume or a portfolio.
Yeah, so much of design is not specifically the design, huh? It's all the other things.
Yeah. I mean, you have to work in a team.
Yep.
So you have to be able to work within, that team.
Yeah. For sure. Okay, let's see. Any other last questions? I did want to ask you about, because I think this is great for beginners too, who are kind of playing around, might have some free time.
Sure.
Making plugins for XD. That's something we all have done a lot.
So yeah, we've if you have an inkling for developing as well, so XD has a plugin ecosystem, so it allows you to create plugins. And actually, when XD launched the XD plugin platform, since we are also an engineering shop, we were invited to participate. And one of the things that we needed was to be able to separate the business, of design and content, so that we have big teams, and typically people who think about content might be the client, because we don't know their voice, their content, and they're always tweaking. Like a lot of time we learned was we spent a lot of time. The design is finished, but the client's always tweaking the content, and we just spend a lot of cycles tweaking the content, and it's just like that's cost for the design, our company, you know, and if we have to absorb that, that's not good. If we have to bill for that, you know, that's not good for the client. Coming up with a tool that separates the design and the content made a lot of sense, because then, you know, the client or the person working on content can just tweak the content till Kingdom Come, and, you know, and it doesn't, you know, you just hit refresh.
That's so interesting. So this came out of like a real irritation that you experience daily. And then...
Yeah, and designers don't necessarily, like, you know, it's not their goal in life to like change one word or change a few sentences in their design once they feel like it's done, right? So, you know, this is something that I think is a win-win, and it basically, you know, you can change content without having to rely on a designer.
That's awesome. Yeah.
So yeah, definitely, you know, if you, we encourage you to think about that, separating design plus content. We also don't design with lorem ipsum. We want to design with as realistic as content as possible. Case in point, for example, you know, when we did the work for Central, we had to design for both Thai and English, and Thai words, you know, are typically a lot longer. So if you have an English mindset, you know, like the menu items or content will be much shorter. They'll be single words. And, you know, like Thai is just more verbose. So like the same word in Thai might be like multiple words kind of strung together, you know.
Yeah.
And so, you know, being able to have content, realistic content is important. Whether you use, you know, a plugin or any tool for that, you should be thinking about designing with real content and not lorem ipsum.
Oh yeah, for sure. Well, do you want to show us a little bit how this works, and we can answer
Yeah,
some of the
absolutely. So actually, I'm just gonna be lazy and show you a video, and then I'll kind of show you how it works. So we put a lot of work in this video. Is there sound? I don't know. Is there sound?
Oh yeah. Well, maybe
there's no sound. You don't need sound.
There was a question before about how much content to put in case studies, where to be more verbose or to err on the side of being simple. Do you have any thoughts while this is playing on that?
Yeah, it really depends on your audience and who the decision maker is and how they think. You know, if your job is if you're trying to get a job and the person hiring you is a designer, then the content is very different than, you know, like for us, the content is there to convince a decision maker to hire Impekable. So they may not care so much about, say, font or typography or your choice of color. They might care more about, you know, what did this design achieve, or what problem was it trying to solve?
Goals.
Kind of business goals, right? So you have to really address who your customer is. So yeah, it's all user experience, and who's the user in this case.
That's true. It's like
you
never get away from design. So.
Yeah. So even designing your portfolio, you have to think about who is the person consuming that. Yeah. So how do we think about design? So let's move right into it. Let's actually show you what a case study kind of looks like. I like this one. Actually, no, I don't like this one as much as another one. So here's a case study. It's talking a bit about the company. What are they trying to do? What was the problem that they're trying to fix? Yeah, and what was the solution? We covered a little bit, and then maybe even a testimonial.
And this is on Behance.
This is on Behance.
This is for designers to look. Is this mostly aimed at other designers to look at for?
It kind of is, but not really, because, you know, we want our case studies to be everywhere. Yeah. So, you know, we try to have a new format of, like, this is what we did upstairs, kind of up on top here. So these, you know, we provide branding, UI UX design, website design, interaction design, problem statement, you know, a little bit of overview, problem statement, our solution, and maybe a testimonial, and then a call to action to work with us.
It's very scannable.
Yep. I'm super busy. I have to make a split-second decision.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the logo, recognizable logo of a client. Yeah. So, let's get started. I have a very basic case study template. You can see how I've done it here, actually. There's just content blocks. So these are the stuff that we've done. There's a content block. I said no lorem ipsum, but I lied. There's lorem ipsum. Shame. But this is a template. So it's just placed there. They're just blocks, right? And I just have a centerpiece block, a left piece block, a right piece block, and we have like different sections. So how do we work with this? This is a way just to so that you can start, having a consistent format so that you can start a case study. And we actually didn't have this. It was like kind of a free for all. But now that we've done a few case studies, we want to have a consistent format. And you'll notice that so when we design with data and to work with our plugin, we actually have to give our layer names meaningful layer names.
Okay, so you actually name these based on what you want the thing to be later.
Correct. Mm-hmm. And so on the content side, I just have a very simple Google spreadsheet. So we have section 1, section 2, section 3, all the way to section 7. We have title and description, and those correspond exactly to the layer names. So section 1, central department store website redesign. Here's the description. Section 2, the problem. Section 3, the solution. All that stuff. This is just a Google sheet. There's nothing special about this. You can create a Google sheet.
And this is great because you won't get distracted being fixing the type size when you should be writing out cleanly what the problem statement is.
Right. This makes you focus on the content, right? And then the design helps you kind of focus on the design without the customer or the client or whoever being focused on the content. So you're kind of having that clean separation anyways. And then the magic of how this works is, so once I have these things, so in XD, you'll go to your file, your plugins, and you'll go to Discover Plugins if you've never used this before, and you just type Google, and you'll see the Google Sheets plugin. Mine's already installed, so if you haven't done that, you install it, and then now it'll be available. So once you go to plugins, these are kind of the plugins I use.
We got some lively type suggestions in the chat here. Comic Sans, Papyrus,
nice,
all of our favorites.
Nice. Yeah. No Comic Sans, please. Yes. Okay, so how do we populate this, right? I'll show you some of this magic. So I'm just gonna highlight. Actually, I'll just show you one at a time. That way we don't confuse people or freak people out. I'll go to plugins. I'll go to Google Sheets, and right now. So all it is this is a public URL. This is just a URL of your spreadsheet. And I'm just taking this. So one thing that this is the first version of the Google Sheets plugin, is it only works when your sheet is public. Because we're not doing Google Auth or anything like that yet on the Google plugin. So that's potentially phase 2 if we decide to do that. Okay, so I'm gonna go back to XD. And I'm just going to paste this. And then what you'll see is, so these are the XD elements within that group. So it's description, title, and I've conveniently named my columns to match that. So it looks for a match. It doesn't have to match. It can be called A, it can be called B, it can be called XYZ, it doesn't matter. As long as you know what it means and you select the column that will map to the XD elements. And then we hit apply, and boom, see what happened? That default text now is populated with my content.
That's super useful.
Yeah, that's it's amazing. We love it. And then it works with groups. You can select the whole artboard. So I'm just selecting the whole different, every section. And we have this neat function called refresh content. So you don't have to go through all the wizard again. Boom. And now my content is in there.
That is awesome. Also a reminder, we are 3 minutes away from chat and win. So
all right.
Stay tuned for that.
What's the prize?
Prize is, I think, 100 Sticker Mule stickers for free. Also, all of these stickers basically are Sticker Mule, so very useful and fun. You're a fan of Sticker Mule too.
Oh yeah, check this out. This is a Sticker Mule.
Like, we have to talk about, you are on Windows now, right?
Yes.
If you have not noticed.
Yeah, this is a Windows laptop. It's been interesting. I haven't used a Windows machine in probably over 10 years. I've been a Mac guy since, especially in design, in using design. A lot of design tools are better on Mac. But nowadays, I barely touch design, and I mostly live in a browser. And so, like, really, why do I need a Mac? I like this. This is thinner. It's called a yoga for a reason. Like, it does this thing. So your Mac can't do this. It'll break. It's got like this Dolby Digital soundbar. That's pretty cool. It folds into a tablet. I feel like I'm a commercial for Lenovo right now.
Well, it's great because XD works on both. So
Exactly.
you can still work with all your Mac buddies.
Yeah,
like me,
yeah.
who are still in the past.
Yeah, this is XD working on Windows just fine. Yeah.
Oh, it seems we have more Windows fans here.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, we are a minute down to the chat and win.
All right.
Which is exciting.
So do you guys have any questions around the plugin?
Yeah, seems like everyone else also is excited about this plugin, which I'm also very excited to use.
Yeah, it keeps, like, for example, right now, actually just in reading out loud here, for example, let's see. Impekable is the #1 rated top app development agency in San Francisco Bay. We design and engineer world-class software for our enterprise clients, technology partners, and remote companies like ourselves. Wow, that is a mouthful. So I am going to kind of edit it, play editor, right? So we design, engineer world-class software for, instead of our enterprise clients, like R is really not needed, for enterprise clients, partners, and remote companies. Just, I don't like the sound of remote companies. There's gotta be a better word. It's like distributed companies, and distributed companies, because we're a distributed team. Distributed teams. Actually, I like the word team better, because you don't have to be a company. You can be a distributed team, like ourselves.
It is time for chat and win. So
Let's do it.
get in the chat and say hi for your chance to win.
All right.
1 minute and counting. So say hello. Win some awesome Sticker Mule stickers.
Okay. What do they look like?
Oh, it's your own. Like, you can...
Oh, you just make
you
it.
upload your own.
Oh,
So whatever
nice.
design you want, which is great for swag, for decorating your laptop.
Yeah.
Yep. And we're back.
All right.
All this action in the chat.
Nice. Whoa, look at that.
Yeah. And the prize again is Sticker Mule stickers that you can, of course, you design them yourself and you can print them. Sticker Mule is great. Basically, all of these are from Sticker Mule.
Yep.
They're amazing.
We're a big fan, as you can see.
Yes. Lots of people. Awesome.
There's a Pexon in the chat. That's pretty cool.
Oh yeah, name
Because I'm
buddies.
Peck.
Are you gonna have to fight?
Name bud-
Okay. Wow. This is a lot of people. That's great. All right. Sticker Mule is great.
So when do we select the winner? What's going on?
All right. Are we selecting a winner? Wow, that's a lot of people. Ah, congratulations, Camilla.
Hey, yay!
Awesome. Congratulations on your stickers. That's very exciting. I love Sticker Mule.
Yeah.
I'm like
Post-
a big Sticker Mule fangirl.
Post a link of what you're gonna make.
Yeah, we would love to see. Awesome. Congratulations, Camilla. Awesome. And also, if you want your own stickers, we do have a special link here for participating in Adobe Live. So I think that gives you a little bit of a discount.
Oh.
Yeah.
Somebody asked why Impekable. Well, my name is Pek.
Are you a pun guy?
I'm a pun guy. I'm a cheesy pun guy. We have pun battles at work.
Oh, wow. That's intense.
And I just post puns all the time as well. So
That's great.
it's a good stress reliever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, this Google plugin's very cool. Awesome. Thank you for showing us your portfolios. Again,
Yep.
as we keep going, if you have any questions, let us know. We will try to answer all the questions in the chat. Congrats again to Camilla. All right.
All
What
right.
are we making today?
Yeah, so we're making the case study. So we went over, what a good case study is in terms of, kind of articulating just an overview, problem, the solution, showcasing some work in between, and then, if you have any testimonials, and then some sort of call to action. I think that's kind of what we want people to do at the end is to, as they scroll down, be convinced more and more that they should be working with us. So having worked on the problem, the case study, we should know what it's about. So like once we stick to this format, it's very easy to come up with other case studies and have a very consistent feel and format until we find a better format that works better for us. But yeah, you should think about the content. You should separate the content from the design. The Google Sheets plugin for XD makes it really easy. I think we were tweaking some of this content. So I didn't like the way this read.
It needs more puns, I think.
It needs more puns, yes.
I like the pandemonium.
Pandemonium, yes. And yeah, we could we tweaked some of the content, and rather than having to type it within the confines of this, we can just now reselect it, go to plugins, and refresh the content, and boom, you saw that this changed.
Great.
Yeah, and we have a format, right? We have kind of what it looks like. Just kind of going back to the site. So if you look at Central, it's very white, it's very clean. We kind of want to keep that aesthetic. You got this deep red, which is the Central branding. So we kind of want to tie that together. One of the things that I like about one of our older case studies is that our background, our theme overall kind of fits well with kind of the redesign of the site for the client. And as you can see, kind of like the mood, the theme, the visuals of the case study match really well with the actual site that we designed.
You're designing the container for the work as well.
Correct.
It's good presentation.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So we kind of want to repeat that. I thought that, doing it that way worked really well. So we're going to try to repeat that. I actually was looking at some stock photo of retail and shopping, looking at kind of whites and reds to kind of match, the Central Mall look. Yeah, that's, I didn't get very far. I think I only found 3-4 pictures. But, I went on stock.adobe.com. I did, shopping, red. I did, stuff like this. This is kind of what I got. This might work. There's some good white space here. I don't know about the megaphone, so I might dig a little deeper into this, and sure enough, there's actually a good image where I might be able to kind of show the edge of this, and there's some white space that I can use to showcase the work, right? I don't need to maybe focus on the woman so much, but the shopping bag, and there's some white space.
Yeah, and this is like getting creative with things you can find and making it your own then.
Yeah, and then still keeping it, the theme of the retail and stuff. So this would be one exercise that you would go through in creating the case study. So now I have a little collection of things that I could potentially use. This was from an older case study. I probably should have removed that. Let's see. Yeah, and
so you really are focusing on, as you're like the design process, you're thinking about all the content first before you're even really diving in. Even though you have a template,
you should think about the content first.
Yep.
Yeah, I would echo that. Before you just start painting, you want to nail down what the content is king. Content is king. Tell me more. Actually, I'm curious. How do you guys think about design over at Adobe?
Oh, I mean, it's definitely, you got to plan a little bit.
Yeah.
So very similar to where you were talking about, where, you have user experience. We are lucky we work with a lot of researchers, so we know our audience really well. And yeah, do you talk to clients you've had and like figure out what works best, or have you had that conversation with people before?
Yeah, they have a lot of insights in their customers, so you should talk to customers, your clients. If possible, you should talk to your clients' clients, the users. They'll, you're in a way you're solving a problem for them. Sometimes the client can be a proxy for that. Sometimes they don't know, and you have to talk to the users. But sometimes the client talks to the users enough that they have a sense. Yeah,
and when you do talk to your clients, these case studies are actually really good practice because you almost have to make these case studies then for your client to show you what your clients want.
Yeah.
So just like all these skills are very reusable.
Yeah, it's very meta, clients.
We're just presenting case studies.
Yeah.
For everyone. That's such a big part of the job. It's important.
Yeah, actually, I'd love to. So Ash used to be a designer at Pinterest and Twitter. I'd love to kind of get more. I've never worked at companies like that. We have some of those as our clients, but it's different being, I think, an embedded designer. I think you see a very different perspective.
Yeah, I think it removes one level of like. You do get a little of the agency whiplash if you're working for like a bunch of clients where you're like, okay, new client, new team, new audience, new everything. And so there is a little stability there, but you might be surprised. It's just, especially in a startup, things move so fast where it's just like things change from day to day. So super interesting. But yeah, definitely always the focus on the user. The like very particulars of what you do day in, day out may change, but I mean, very similar where it seems like universally, it's like, what does the user want? Design for that user, content first. Yeah. Universal. So anywhere you want to work, those are applicable.
Oh. Ash, you disappeared.
Oh, no.
That's magic.
Yeah, that's actually, I've just vanished. Hello.
Oh, wow. How does that work?
Disappearing Ash. That is my nickname
0%.
at parties.
I want that dial to control my own opacity.
What is the person who like only is invisible when other people are watching?
That's awesome.
Yeah. If you have any other questions about working between us, I think we've worked like every single design possibility. I've been freelance, agency, startup at Adobe, which is huge.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Yep. Big company. I used to work at a big company, and then I went smaller company, and then smaller company, to finally a company of one. AKA freelancer. And then now I'm kind of going the opposite direction where we're slowly growing again. Yeah.
So how would you take these images and incorporate them into your
let's do it. Let's do it, right? So we have this piece of content, the problem. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, so I don't know,
Yeah, is there any in the chat, any of these images?
Yeah, actually, let's ask the audience. You know, are you guys feeling anything in particular in terms of like imagery? Are ones maybe too distracting? Are certain ones just, you know, yeah? Is any particular one you guys like? Let's get an audience poll.
Oh, we do have more questions. Let's see.
What do you do with work with a lot of NDA? Unfortunately, we can't show work that's under NDA.
Yeah, you just gotta wait, right?
Yeah, we do. You know, if something is public, you know, it's all fair, right? Like Central.com, you can go there and check it out, all our work yourself. With the red bag, plain and simple. I love that. And sometimes it's a negotiating point. You know, sometimes it's not very unusual for clients to want a discount. So I think in your contract, you should say that you should be able to show your work. And if they want that out, but then they also want something in return, like oftentimes they want, you know, hey, give me a deal, give me that, give me this. So you have negotiating points. So one of the negotiating things is like, oh, you shouldn't just give them a discount because they asked for it. Mm-hmm. You should be asking for something in return. So, you know, that's a negotiating card.
Yeah.
Is being able to showcase the work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
that. Okay, so I think
red bag
a lot of people like the red bag, so I'm just gonna go with that one, right? Boom. Yeah.
Okay, and then this is placement, just to see if you like it, so you don't have to commit.
Yeah. There's a way to mirror this, right? Flip, boom. Check that out.
And a tip, all of those actions are non-destructive. That means you can reverse them. So if you don't like it and want to flip it back eventually, no problem.
Nice. Actually, you shouldn't manually resize stuff. You should just do, you know, kind of just know stuff and just do precise stuff.
Gotta get those even pixels.
Yeah, no fractions, please.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, now that's looking like something. Actually, I don't like this floor. It doesn't remind me of a retail mall or shopping, you know, like it looks like the bag's at home or something. I don't know, for whatever reason. So, you know, I might kind of group that together and kind of mask it, right?
Yep.
And now I'm gonna move that thing around so that it's cut off maybe right here. Then I'll need to make the image a little bigger, and that's fine. Yeah, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, I don't like that white. Okay. So I just move that down a bit.
There you go.
There you go. Looks a lot better. I think the text is really hard to read, so we're gonna make this text in actually a darker color. Maybe like a kind of a gray. Actually, why am I guessing? Don't guess. I hate guessing. Just use the color. We try to stick with, see, this is a problem. I'm still not used to Windows control, so I don't know what I just did. That's funny.
Even the touchpads are
it's a little different.
But this is great. You're checking with actual, like, what's live in the site. Yeah.
Yeah. So here's the actual color, so I'm just gonna use that. So pro tip, this is, you know, kind of like the designer, developer. I'm always inspecting stuff. So I'm just gonna use that and just make that a color right there.
That's great. So you can use that for later.
And actually that is not still legible, so I'm going to use one of their different colors, like maybe their other tone.
Yeah, and you determined all of these before giving that to the client, right?
We did,
Yeah.
and I'm sure I have, the
Style
style
guide.
sheet. One of my designers has a style guide somewhere, but for the purposes of this exercise, I don't have it readily available.
Yeah, with working with engineers, how in depth do you go with providing a style guide and like mapping out every color, pixels?
Yeah. We, Adobe XD provides great tools to, once you have a design, you can share, the specs to the developers, and they just use those specs.
Yeah, that's great. You can just copy and paste, and then.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So we got a new color. I think we could still use that color. I wouldn't discount it. For somewhere else.
Might
It's
as
just
well
somewhere
keep
else.
it saved
So
in our pocket.
I'm just gonna keep it, yeah. Oh. All right. So now, there we go.
Okay, a little better.
Yeah, so this
legible.
works way better. Yeah. So that kind of takes care of the first screen. I'm not gonna buy this yet because I need to kind of see how it all works together.
Yeah.
So I don't want to rush, into that.
Taking it slow. It's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, talk to me about like where are you gonna go next?
Yeah, we have some screenshots from the app. I kind of put it here. Let's go through it. These are some mobile responsive screens. We have some screenshots. These are different categories. The menu drop down. This is a PDP, product detail page. We have the checkout flow.
Ooh, some new user
We just have some
experience.
perspective mock-ups. Oh, what's going on here? We just have some exported stuff that we could kind of play with. So for example, like this asset here, I would just, potentially just drop in kind of in the header area to catch people's attention right away.
Yeah, and a lot of these sites that you make probably have like hundreds of pages. How do you choose which images to highlight, which mock-ups?
Great question. And on the business end, right, like one of the things I wanted to show was like how much work did we actually do? So I grabbed some stats.
Gosh.
These were 253 screens, mind you. So these are not, we didn't design a screen for every individual product because there's thousands of products, hundreds of thousands of products. These are page types. Or states. So there's 253, page categories or page types, and there are multiple states. And then we translated that some of the stuff wasn't relevant in mobile, so mobile web, 120 unique components, how many hours we spent on the project. So these are good stats we would probably highlight at the bottom, towards the bottom, when people are like, oh, okay, how much, so that they understand, right? Like people think, oh, it's just a shopping site, how hard can it be? When we give them that, this probably, a lot of times people's minds are blown of how much work goes into an e-commerce site if you're redesigning this from scratch.
Yeah, that's amazing. And then talk to me a little bit more about these components, because that's kind of like the sweet secret design systems sauce, right?
Yeah. So let's go to for this we need to make a journey to the actual website. So the way we think about components is reusable elements, right? Like, for example, the top menu navigation here is a component. The nav bar here, the breadcrumb, as you might call it, is a component. This pop-up here, this offer is a component. When different drop downs when you click is, this mega menu is a component. Whoops. I call it mega menu. So these are reusable components that it appears over and over. So it doesn't make sense to, like if you reuse something, they should be in XD, should be a symbol, should be, like in software application development, we think, the developers call them components. They're reusable components. They just have different content, but you don't want to create it from scratch every time, because otherwise every time you change it in one place, you got to change it in multiple places. In the design side, they should be symbols, because that same thing. Once you change, if the client decides, oh, this component, I don't like it as a mega menu, I like it as a more slimmed down menu, you want to change it in one place and have it propagate.
Then you're not editing 253.
No, that would be
pages.
A nightmare, right? Like, that would be a nightmare. So we use components a lot.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. Like even this product, card product preview widget is a component. You can think of these. So does that help?
Yeah, and then you used XD for your components.
Yeah. So this project is, we use a design tool. This case study is in XD.
Yeah.
Can you add an effect to the writing that pushes that writing out a smidge?
I think that was when we were looking at the contrast of.
Oh, got it.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can think of on that page, like each of those modules is a component. So you're only really designing that one component. You're repeating and then kind of moving things around.
Yeah, and especially what's great is once you have these components, you can quickly assemble pages, because a lot of pages are just made of existing components.
It's almost like Lego.
Yeah. So it's one of the ways to design such a piece like this is to, what we call a component inventory. So we go to the site, we look at the stuff, and it's like we get an idea of how many components do we have, right? So, and just do an inventory just so we get the scale of the site. So otherwise it's hard to estimate.
Yeah. Maybe with what you have in XD, we can kind of demonstrate if we wanted to like turn that into a component in
right?
XD.
Yeah. Once you have a repeatable element, for example, like these sections, they should be components if you want to keep them uniform, right? Maybe the label, the title, the description should be components. That way, if you change the font, the type size, and whatever, it just propagates to all of them. Otherwise, you're gonna have to go through all of them and mess with that, and that's not cool.
Yeah, and then XD actually retroactively, if you have been using a type style a lot, I don't know if you know this, if you go into this little tab here, and if you click on the type, maybe you can just do the white one.
Yeah.
One of them.
Yeah.
And if you, there you go.
All right.
And then if you add it into character styles.
How do I do that?
There's a plus button
right
there.
Here.
Okay, now this is the magic. So if you zoom out, so we can see it all at once. So if you change this here, XD will actually pick up everywhere you've used that and then change it to your new style. So if you right click on Verdana right now, and you can edit it and make it whatever you like.
All right, help us pick a font.
Comic Sans, right?
I'm not a font guy at all.
Man, Webdings, that would be a good one.
Oh no.
Mystery mockup. Yeah, any suggestions? Let's go with...
I wish we had Ari here.
Help us with
She's
that.
the font person.
Well, maybe, I see you have Gotham. That's not a bad choice.
Good call, because Gotham is the font of Central.
Yeah.
And actually, that should be the font of this case study, because we kind of want to mimic that.
That makes sense.
Awesome.
Yeah. And now if you go and look at another header, you'll see that if you go up to the white header that you have,
Yep. And it's now
there should be... Oh, okay, that wasn't the same as before, but if you scroll down, because that one was in Verdana. If that one was in Verdana, the mobile web one, you'll see now that it's Gotham.
Whoops. Oh.
However, that is how it works.
And that's how it
Yeah,
works.
yeah.
Trust us. We're professionals.
Oh, we have a lot of fond opinions here. Helvetica, Nimbus Sans, all some good
Papyrus,
geometric.
yeah. Unfortunately, no. Papyrus wouldn't look good. We're sticking to Gotham just because, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. We're sticking to the palette of Central here. With they Central, the logo is Gotham, or the fonts here are Gotham, and then the color palette. So we're trying to make it consistent for this purposes of this case study. Right. So back to, oh, did I close XD? Is that what happened? I think I closed XD. Sorry, new Windows person here.
Yeah, but now it's great because if you do ever do a future headline, you can just hit character styles in this menu here, and it'll just
Sweet.
pop that in, keep track of everything.
So yeah, that's what we want to do is just pop that, boom, that, like it's hot.
That will turn it white though.
So we gotta have two styles, one for dark and one for, yes, like the Jedi and the
Spy versus Spy.
Spy. Is
Is that too old a reference?
No,
I know.
no, I got it. I used to read those comics. We could go way back.
Yep.
Cool. And actually, shouldn't they just be symbols at this point?
You can make them symbols.
Yeah. Let's do it. So we're gonna just, whoops. Arg. Right click for the fail. Make a symbol. But I won't make it a symbol, and I'll tell you why. Because the version of Google Sheets plugin right now does not work with symbols, so then they'll break my content.
Oh, that's very important.
So, yes. So one of the things that I think we should do is make sure that, because symbols are good practices. Separating your content is also good practice. It's really not a good user experience for designers to have to pick and choose between, oh, do I want design component reusability, or do I want to separate design with content, right? Like that shouldn't be a choice, right? Like you shouldn't have to be made to choose between that. So yeah, we do have, this was we haven't, ever since we launched the Google Sheets plugin, we haven't really touched it, but I think it's due for some updates. And one of the things is, one of the requests we've seen is, I think I saw it in the audience, is they want to make sure that you want to use, be able to use private Google Sheets, and that's like one of the number one, requests, because you can't, if you're working on a private design, you can't have public content running around exposed, or if you work for a big enterprise, like that just violates all sorts of security policies. So that's one feature we're going to work on. I think another really good feature is making sure that this works with symbols.
Yeah, there is a question here on if XD creates HTML code. It does not, but it does create a guide that you can send to your developer so they can easily make sure that they don't have to measure anything. It just gives you a nice clean thing, which maybe we'll do later once you're done. We can kind of check it out.
Yeah, we'll certainly do that. In fact, we'll even show some of the other tools like collaboration features and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Okay. Should make a little bit of headway on this page.
Yes. Too much talking. More, as I tell my people, less talking, more doing. So there was this piece of content I wanted to use that looks great for maybe the header image. So I'm just gonna place it there.
Yeah, and so part of this project too, you were doing mobile as well as web, and that's pretty common.
Yeah, mobile responsive, right?
Yep.
You have to do the mobile responsive. What am I doing? I'm so not used to Windows here.
Do you have any quick tips for designing on mobile web versus on a desktop screen?
Quick tips. Study. I think with anything, you need to look at, you have to see a lot, and then you'll kind of see these patterns, like these recurring patterns, that how things kind of auto flow to mobile responsive. And actually, we had a client where you might have to customize the mobile web because it just doesn't work really well when it's translated or when it auto flows in mobile web. So you might want to adjust certain things. So I think you have to look at best practices, see what other people are doing, and also be aware of how you're going to work with a lot of different teams, and sometimes the best that for a team can do is just, I think a good designer will know how things will auto flow and kind of keep that in mind when they're designing.
Yeah, and do you have opinions too? Because as you were saying, there are a lot of patterns that are out on the web now. Like, stores usually have a top menu with like the little hamburger online if you're on mobile. And so what do you think about, following those existing patterns versus almost reinventing the wheel, doing something flashy?
I think you should first strive to be useful and less to be original. UX design solves a problem. In my opinion, UX design solves a business problem, tries to achieve certain goals. They're hiring you because something is broken. They're not hiring you for art. So in terms of designing software applications, which is mostly my business, is to solve a problem. Like this, the design was dated, it wasn't very mobile responsive. Actually, part of the content you'll see is, in countries like Thailand, mobile is a high percentage of desktop, and so something that's not great in mobile responsive, that's a huge problem. So, what issue are you trying to address? I would say, for us, we try to solve the problem first. Kind of as designers, you have to kind of check your ego out the door in that sense. How do you guys think about it?
I mean, I think it's pretty similar, right? I think that divide of art versus design, when you are designing products and sites, just as you said, you are solving a problem. And it's funny because I don't know how you originally got into design, but I think when you originally started thinking like, design, it's like expressive and artistic, but you're actually expressing like a client's needs and solving a problem, which is part of the problem, right?
Yeah.
Is expressing the right mood or attitude, but it is very problem-solving oriented.
Yeah, I'm more minimal these days. When I first started out designing, it was a form of my expression. And I thought a lot about superfluous animations. And I also got into design during the era of skeuomorphism.
Oof, me too.
Yeah, and everything had a totally different look. If you guys are too young, you're like, what?
Jelly buttons.
Yeah, buttons that look like buttons, applications that look like, notepad applications that look like notepads, and calculators that look like calculators, and podcasts and radio apps that look like old school radios. Skeuomorphism is like the idea of looking like the real thing that the software aims to do. So there was a lot of time spent making that look as realistic as possible, which in today's and age, like, does it get the job done or not?
Oh man, yeah, I'm very excited to not have to do those jelly buttons anymore with the like shiny.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of time was made perfecting those. If you want to take a trip down memory lane, I can show a lot.
Oh my
Does
gosh.
anyone here do user testing? Yes, I think it's very important because your design is meant to achieve a goal, and actually a lot of times what you should do is do user testing before and get a baseline reading of what the current design is doing. You may have some stats of the conversion rate, like the checkout flow or the registration conversion. You should have like the baseline stats, and then you've only are successful at your job if you improve those metrics. Otherwise, you degraded. So The client's not paying you to make their website worse, right? They're hiring you to make their website better.
And have you had any occasions where you've been able to say, even like maybe a client wants a certain thing, and then you've been able to say, like, actually, we've tested this, and this is clear, it improves things better than?
Yeah, it's, we do kind of small tests when they can't afford it. Their sites like that you can buy, just tests online where you select the demographics and people just kind of jump on the design. So you can do these lightweight tests. You can do these yourself, or you give it to your worker. Whatever you can, like whatever the budget allows for, whatever the time allows for. Having some data is better than no data.
And even being scrappy, it's like, I've worked places where they would go to the grocery store and be like, hello, would you like to do a user test? We'll give you like $25 at the grocery store. And I was like,
yeah,
damn.
yeah, you can do it that way. You can do the Starbucks card test.
Yep.
We worked in a co-working space. We probably violated all sorts of NDAs. Just using like co-working people just to like do quick user tests of stuff. Just quick and dirty. Get some data.
Yeah. Super helpful. Okay.
All right.
And also, you are designing desktop first here, but do you typically do desktop first, mobile first? Depends.
It depends on what the need is. If mobile is more important, we may design mobile first. For Behance case studies, I think we're just assuming a lot of desktop usage first. I could be totally wrong.
Everyone's scrolling their mobile phones, checking this out.
Yeah. How do I? There we go.
And just a reminder, in 22 minutes we will be looking at the design challenge, so that's what that little countdown in the corner there is. So if you're working on those, get to it soon. Okay, now you got your image in there.
Actually, oops. Oh, redo. Actually, I want it not in the rectangle. How do I do that?
Oh, I think you can undo and then, or you can copy and paste it outside the group.
Oh, undo, keep undoing, yep.
When in doubt.
When in doubt, undo.
Undo.
Whoa. Oh, I copied the wrong thing.
There we go.
And as you can see, it's I don't need it to show the whole thing, and I probably want to cut it off. I don't need the kind of the bottom of the computer. This is very verbose. Central department store website redesign. Yeah, it's pretty verbose.
How much on the fly content do you end up writing as a designer?
As a designer, I think a lot. Clients also tend to lean on designers too much for everything. Mm-hmm. So we end up designing a lot of content, and it should be really informed by the customer, right? They know their business better than anyone else, so they should be the voice. Yeah.
Sorry, you're gonna crop this picture.
I'm gonna crop this picture.
Oh.
I'm gonna do the same thing. Oh, I keep selecting description. All right, group. Let's Control G, and I think we're gonna have to move this, right? And then
yeah, select those two.
All right, mask with shape, which is Shift Control M. Got it.
There you go.
Boom. All right, but then now I need another layer to show some color. Or
a little color pop in the background.
Make it pop. Yeah. Oh, I take out the fill. All right, so I'm gonna just do a.
No, no, your layer is visible at all times. I love seeing other people's XD setups. There's not that many things to pop in and out because XD is pretty simple, but it's like being inside of someone else's brain.
You know, I could do, you know, like the central red. And again, I'm guessing, so I shouldn't guess. Never guess.
There you go.
So we're just gonna. That's very pixelated. Not good.
Some artifacts.
So let's maybe get that going here. There you go. Boom.
A nice little color wash, good contrast.
Right, and then you got, you know, dark, slightly light. Yeah.
Cool. So we are 2/7 of the way there now. The modules.
Yeah. I'm taking my sweet time here.
That's good.
The solution, and so we have. I might skip. So I'm a big proponent of just finding ways to get the job done. What do I mean by that? I have no compunction. So there's, you know, back in my day, if you wanted anything, you had to design that from scratch. But nowadays there's tons of resources, and we actually put out some resources ourselves. In point of fact, we do a lot of dashboards, so we know a thing or two about dashboards because we work a lot on enterprise dashboards, and so we put out an XD dashboard UI kit. But that's just an example of a resource that's out there. And then other sites that we like, for example, UI8 I'll call out. There's resources in all sorts of design formats, and you can filter it. You know, here I filtered it out by XD, and they have these mock-up kits. And
this is great because you really don't have to start from scratch or know how to draw like icons or anything.
Nope,
Yeah.
because this is the design here is a utility to serve the showcase. I don't need to be spending time designing, like iPhone mockups, for example. That's not a good use of my time. My time is better spent, creating these the case study and moving on, because there's tons of other case studies actually. So I just I downloaded one mockup here. And you can see this is a great way to showcase some of the mobile responsive designs. So like these are great. Maybe I'll err on just more simpler stuff like this one. This is kind of cool and all, but then like all this gets up. Your design gets obstructed, and you don't really get to see. So I don't think these ones showcase the work really well. So I lean more towards maybe these types that really show the work. You're not there to show off how cool you've laid out your phones. These are there to show the work.
Let the work speak.
Speak for itself. Yep.
Yeah, and then these again are on UI8. Is there something
Yep,
you can
they're on UI8.
search for?
Yep, they're on UI8. And then there's I already kind of played with one.
Okay.
UI8, highly recommended. So you just go to UI8.net. You can search, for just now I just did a search for mockups.
Oh yeah, and there's tons.
If you want to wireframe, just wireframe, just XD, and here you go. I like wireframing UI kits because people can, early on in the design, people can get very fixated on the color and just, you got to get the information right. You got to get the layout right. You got to get the information architecture right. You know, just taking it. I like using analogies, so you don't want to start worrying about the decor, the paint, you know, the interior design until you've figured out
Your house isn't gonna fall
where.
over.
Right. Where's the bathroom? You know, if you put the, you know, you put the bathroom before the living room, that doesn't make sense, right? You shouldn't be worried about the color of the bathroom until you've kind of laid out where the bedroom, the dining room, the living room, the bathrooms, and
And what's
garage.
nice is you can start testing with those. Like, you don't have to have the full finished mock-ups to start testing.
Right.
If you hook stuff up in prototype mode in XD, you can start to see how it's going to feel, even though it doesn't have the final polish. And then you can go test, and you don't waste a bunch of time skinning everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to caveat, though, some people are like, they don't understand wireframes and they
That's
don't understand mock-ups, and they're like, why is this in grayscale?
Like, why is everything gray?
Why, you know, I feel like this is from a different time or something.
Yeah.
You know, like,
For sure.
Yeah. So you kind of have to temper that sometimes. Yeah. Yeah, so speaking of, right, don't feel guilty of using stuff like this because the resources are there to aid you, and, you know, you're doing a job. A lot of times clients pay for your time. You know, if I was paying for someone's time to create this case study, I'm definitely not paying for their time to create these iPhone mockups. That's just a utility to showcase the work.
Yeah. And so you've already popped in a couple.
Yeah, I was playing with one. I was playing with one. I kind of laid it out like this, and this showcases, you know, like the breadcrumb. This showcases, you know, kind of like the checkout process, the product detail page in mobile web, the checkout. You know, how we deal with the address, how we deal with the product. You know, the mega menu in mobile web.
So you're choosing like a lot of diverse screens.
Yeah,
basically.
yeah, exactly. Show diversity. Yep, that's.
Cool. Are you gonna pop that in?
We are gonna pop that in.
The nice thing about having all these like templated blocks too is you can kind of focus on one section and work, and then zoom out and focus on one section and work.
Yep. Oh, did I close? I'm sorry. This is this is a very brand new computer. I was on a Mac for a decade, so I'm not used to Windows. That's like caveat. Like
That's good. We can blame platform differences for everything.
totally. Total noob here at. Is it this one? Oh, did we lose everything? Oh, don't tell me we lost everything.
Oh no.
Is there an autosave feature?
If you open recent, it might be Untitled too, because if it's on cloud, then it just saves automatically.
No, this is Untitled too.
Okay, maybe it's Untitled 1. Hopefully. Oh, that is very nice though. Well, it happens to the best of us. This is
Or in my case, the worst.
You have two of those, so I'm hoping one of those has the.
It's this one. It's definitely. I think it was. It's trying to be this one.
I think it's the under there. Yeah. Okay. Well, we can quickly paste stuff back in. I think the design is the hard part.
Yeah. So, anyways, sorry, we lost a lot of work here. Not really. We're just talking so much.
I know. We're just having such fun with you all in the chat. Also, a reminder, in 10 minutes, we will be looking at the design challenge stuff, so.
Nice. Right.
So if you put the rectangle on top and then you do clip to mask, it'll just mask it.
Oh.
You don't have to group it.
And then, whoop.
change that back to the red.
Yep. I'm gonna get that because we lost all the colors too.
That's right. However, I don't know if you've had this. Sometimes when I have lost work, you do it the second time, you're like, oh, okay.
Much faster.
Yeah, and you can fix a couple things. I feel like this is a very memeable design moment.
My fingers. No, see, it's too light. Oh, because we're at opacity.
There you go.
There we go. Cool, look at that. And I'm not even worried about the content because I can plug in the content like that.
Yeah, just a little shortcut from using plugins.
I'm gonna save now. Learn my lesson. Right? Cool. We got, and we had the stock photo we really liked.
Mm-hmm.
Copy. I think we liked it much bigger. Shift Control M. Boom. Shortcut keys for the win. All right, I can multitask. Feel free to ask me other questions. Actually, while we do this, yeah, I'd love to hear more about your time. Before the show, you talked about, you were at Pinterest during the growth hacking days. I'm very interested because growth hacking has a lot, you're trying to achieve a goal. It's not designed for aesthetics. It's like you're trying to increase some darn metric up and to the right. So tell me more about what you and maybe in particular focused on in terms of designing for growth hacking.
So just some background and context. I think whenever you have like a product or an app, and you've probably run into this, and we talked about this a little bit, where you want people to sign up and to have it be really clear. And so there's a couple ways to go about that. Some are more designerly than others. That's when you get, every time you log into a web page now, you get that marketing thing that's like, give me your email before you've even seen the site or what's on it. And it's like, whoa. And it's dark. That's what we call a dark pattern, I would say, right?
Yeah.
Where, I think one site started doing it and maybe it increased signups a little bit. But based on that now, it's like everyone's doing it. The internet is sad. It's like ruined a lot of shopping sites. And they do it because it works a little bit versus, you as the user, you're annoyed by it, I assume. Yep. I assume you're all annoyed by it. Maybe someone out there loves that pop-up.
Yeah, not really.
Usually they're very snarky and make me very sad. But yeah, that's an example of like a dark UX pattern where it works and you get a couple more signups. However, it's a bad user experience. And so, yeah, there is a lot of balancing you have to do where there's stuff that's more gray area that's not so obviously irritating as like a sign-up form. It's like, give me your email. But, you have to start to weigh like, oh, is this annoying to the user? And what's, the gain of like, you get like 10 extra signups. It's like, you can't really continuously do all these like eroding trust actions like doing that, or else someone's like.
So what's an example of a Pinterest dark pattern then?
Well, speaking of NDAs, Pek. No.
Well, I mean, it's public, right? Like you can show the UI and like, oh, this is a dark pattern, right?
Well, I can talk to a couple of the common dark patterns. I mean, that email one particularly was really terrible. And yeah, as Brianne and Blanca are saying, it does turn people off. And so, your brand starts to take a ding when you do things like that, where people start to think of your brand as like malicious or not as nice. Or maybe even like cheaper or lower quality, which is like not what you want. But it can be hard to explain that to clients without numbers, especially when you have the number of like, well, if we don't do this, we'll lose 8 signups a day. And you have to kind of dig further and be like, yeah, today, but tomorrow, some user might be like, I don't like them because they've done all these dark things, so I'm not gonna use them. Yeah, I'm gonna use someone else because they don't do these horrible patterns. But another pattern I've seen is, hiding stuff behind the sign-up wall, where it's like you can't see the content unless you sign up for an account. That's an annoying one. What else have you seen? Desperate. Yes, Sean, desperate is a word that may come to mind. That's definitely how it affects a brand. What else have you seen? Seen that one. The other one is it's like, look at this in our app, not online, and they throw the huge banner up. They're like, you should look at this in my app instead. Oh, we're going in. Oh, there we go.
This is very meta.
This is a great resource.
This is a very meta because I'm looking for resources and dark pattern. Oh, they stopped doing that. At some point, like, it's funny.
They have a wall.
They have a wall.
They have it on mobile, and it's very annoying.
Yeah, so I guess I can't show you. But at some point, basically, they had a wall, like you could only scroll so much, and then you couldn't scroll more until you signed up. But maybe they know who I am. They fingerprinted me. Maybe they know that it's incognito mode, so there's no point. I don't know. But they figured it out that they don't care. Yeah. Anyways, I was going to try to show you an example of a dark pattern by asking for a dark pattern and making it very meta.
Okay, and just a reminder, 3 minutes till we look at the Discord and see design challenges, and we can kind of walk through them and see them on air. So get those in.
Actually, I have an opinion. Like, how would I show this and still maybe get the text? So, like, I like kind of this pattern in this section of showing these this array of phones. But I'm kind of like struggling in terms of
where to place the text.
Where to place the text for like, yeah.
You could
the
go
mobile.
asymmetric and have a panel of black on one side.
Yeah, like maybe a different one would look better. A little more, or just putting it on the side, you're saying?
Yeah.
Got it.
Or even having 3 and then cutting 2 off.
Ooh,
Yeah.
just moving them around, basically.
These are the pixel pushing challenges.
Yeah. No, that's good. Let's try it. Actually, I might want to just copy some of these over. Oh, these are backgrounds. I don't need these backgrounds, so maybe just copy these over.
Yep, and we are 1 minute out from design challenges, so get those in quick if you've been working.
All right, so let's delete that one. This artboard is huge, so that's gonna be bonk. So I'm gonna just resize it. Of course, it disappears. Oh, I selected the wrong thing. Never mind. Oh no, I did the right thing. Oh, is it doing? What's it doing? So when I resize this whole thing, it's
Oh, that's the new responsive resize feature.
There we go. Got it.
You got it.
Now I got it.
All right. Well, if you're comfortable with pausing,
Let's do it.
I think we should check out these design challenges. Thank you, everyone who has submitted. Since I just downloaded Ross's, let's check that out. Let's make this full screen. All right. So let's see. We have chats here. We'll play this video. Oh, nice. Very snazzy animation.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, and this is one of the great things with XD is you can take videos of your prototypes. So
Yeah.
I don't know if you do this, but I used to do this all the time with clients. If you send them a video with your talking over it, it's so much easier to present. There's so much less like misinformation.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. Actually, that's one way we present our work. Our team presents our work to internally as well. We used to do just kind of like within our Slack, just DSUs, daily stand-ups, and people was like, oh, this is completed, I'm working on this. It's just text. It's really hard to visualize the work.
Yeah.
And for someone who's not involved in the project, we really have moved on to kind of like these kind of video updates where they show that feature, right? Like you can tell me that, oh, I worked on this component when you click on this and it shows a drop down and then you close it and it animates. You can say that in text and like, okay, great. No, it's so much more powerful when you attach this video.
Oh yeah, and it feels a lot realer. So when you start to
Yeah.
prototype these little micro animations, it's like, oh, okay, like it feels like a real app.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very nice. That is from Ross, I believe. Thank you. Let's check out the others. So, oh, okay. A little fintech.
Okay,
Just close
okay.
this guy here. So let's see if it's hooked up. It is hooked up. Amazing. So let's ride. Choose your type of modal. Oh. I'm guessing left is hooked up. So we'll hit left. Okay, selected. Oh. Okay. Chosen that. Let's see. And it's nice because if you don't click, XD tells you where to click.
It
which
tells
is
you
very
where to
handy.
click. Yeah, yeah.
So we'll say go. Okay. So we are hanging out here.
So
I think that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
7 screens.
That's great. I'll click through that again. So let's ride. Selecting. Hit go. There we go. Quick,
Quick,
easy challenge. Awesome. Then let's see. I think we have one more. Ah, this is a whole case study.
Yeah, Darren, you should, it's great advice, right? Like when you send the XD link or you send any piece of work, well, first of all, we tell our team you shouldn't just send your work because people have questions. You're not there. I tell the team you have to defend your design. People, it might make a lot of sense, but from someone who has no context, this design might have to be explained a bit and defended. When you're walking through something with video, you're taking them through the experience versus just like throwing it, here's my work, right? Like there's no context. And also, if you think about the user experience of that customer, you're making them work of having to click through stuff. Whereas here, they're just playing a video and they're just consuming, which is much easier.
Yeah, and also during the design process, you might be looking to get a certain question answered to move on with the project. So being like, oh, is this the right content? And if you don't send, hey, like look at the content, you might start getting questions of like, oh, was that the color we're using? I don't like this font, which while helpful is a little distracting. So it helps everyone like save a little bit of time and energy.
Yeah.
Which is nice. All right. Okay, let's see this. Even though I have both design and development experience, I've only played with XD a few times. Awesome. So, hang on. Drop down. So let's see. There's a drop down here. Let me see if I can embiggen this. Okay.
This looks very familiar. I feel like I was just watching this.
Burritos. Ah. Okay. Let's see. I see. This is spending, I assume, of what you were.
That's a...
Nice. Okay, electronics. Okay, so color-coded. Get that. Oh, here's a video. There we go. Using a video feature again. Oh, auto-animate.
Nice.
Have you played with auto-animate yet?
I have, yeah.
It's pretty snazzy, I will say. Ah. Okay. Yeah, this again is like really helping you imagine exactly what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Which is cool.
Yeah, just to date myself again, you know, I used to do Flash, and Adobe had a technology called Flex, and I was a Flex developer. But Flex was basically, you know, the developer version of Adobe Flash. And yeah, there's, you know, animations and stuff like that you could do
Yeah. Oh, Flash.
for Flash.
I'm glad we don't have to. You had to really know how to code.
Well, action script, yeah, you
Yeah.
have to. Well, no, sometimes, you know, with people can just do all that stuff on the stage back then. You didn't have to write any code too.
Yeah.
Play with the timeline and the tweens and all that stuff.
Well, let's see if there's any more. Russ has shared that XD document, which is very exciting. Yeah,
Nice.
these are beautiful XD challenges. Thank you all for
Nice.
submitting.
Awesome. Thank you.
Let's see.
See, actually, I had a question.
had a
Once
question,
I resize, these things were off. See, I want to resize them. So do I turn it off? Yeah, that way. It all scales really well. So, it's a little weird. You can see how like the. Oh, I think we're still.
Oh yeah, we are still on the
sharing.
challenge.
We're still on the challenge.
Are we picking a challenge?
Are we taking it? What's going on? What's going on
Yeah.
with the challenge?
Are you feeling any of these particularly?
Um,
We have this guy, little animated dude to review. This was the drop down.
uh-huh.
So we have that one. We have this drop down. Any of
Yeah.
these speaking your fancy?
So, let me ask you about your grading criteria. What, you know, when you judge a design, what, tell me, what are your considerations?
Well, I think for a challenge like this, it is pretty spec'd to like a very specific thing. So, you know, I think we can use if we're using your criteria for 4 of like fulfilling a user need
Uh-huh.
and like really understanding the audience.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
that
yeah,
would be
which
my
which
criteria.
what's your vote
And also in depth.
in depth?
I think you're a guest of honor, man. Don't pass it off to me.
Shoot. Well, there's it's a tough one. So I think I like. So there's elements of the previous one, the Mercs. I think that shows a lot of work. I find it hard to read the design. I think this is a challenge. This is advice, you know, to always test your design in mobile, in an actual mobile format. Because, for example, like even on the screen, on a big screen, I find the font a little hard to read. So, you know, in the case of when it's in a phone and the lighting conditions are not optimal, you may find that that's even harder to read. So in context, I think, you know, this design, you probably could use, you know, kind of that usability check where, but I like the depth of the prototype. The menu, the quick menu, I think is probably the most usable. So like if you went back to the previous prototype, where it was just a quick menu.
Where's this one?
This one. I like that it's a video presentation. I think we talked about just show rather than having the people do work. You know, that kind of jives really well with kind of the way we work. The design on this looks, you know, very kind of standard mobile, like, you know, from a visuals. So my vote would probably go to this one.
Okay, for simplicity and for
Simplicity,
following normal patterns.
following conventional patterns. You know, like I think we'd be able to use this right out of the box. Yeah.
Okay, and let me just double check that is all the projects that we have. If there's anything else. Oh, there is one
Oh, we have one more.
We have one more.
Oh,
Bonus. We'll walk through that.
Contender.
Okay. This is also daily challenge. Design and apply a drop All right. Also a video.
I love it.
Okay,
People
very
should be
cute. The
doing
X,
more videos. I love it.
Nice animation. Very clean. Ooh, nice. All right.
Yeah, this is great. You know, this has the video. It's walking me through it. It's, you know, the design, I think is very mobile friendly. It's already on there. It's done. This is pretty good too. Yeah, for the late entry, this is quite amazing.
Yeah. Thank you for submitting.
Yeah. So what's next?
Sticking with this one.
Well, I like the new one too now.
Yeah.
It's now like
It's
darn.
a good thing we
darn.
checked the channel.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if this one is not a late entry, it's a valid entry. I think I like this one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
What about you? You get a vote.
Do I? I think this is your
No.
roadshow.
All right.
So,
Well, I like this one. I like this one.
Awesome. Well, thank you all for submitting. If you did miss today, we are doing it tomorrow. So please join us again. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. Thank you all for submitting.
Yeah.
It's fun to see everyone's work.
Yeah.
Do you want to get back to your...
Yeah. Let's do it. Okay. Where were we? We're just. Yeah, I had a question here.
Oh, yeah.
So I turn off responsive.
So
making
that'll
sure.
just resize it. Yes, exactly.
But you see what is happening. I've turned off responsive, but it's messing with the rounded corners here.
It's preserving the corner radius.
Yeah, it should not be. Right.
How
do we get rid of that?
Shouldn't be. So can you go dig into one of these layers? Into the background white one. There should be a border radius. Okay, so.
The mobile.
Yeah, I mean this might be a bug because it should just scale. But yeah, did you see you saw on the right hand menu there was all the border radiuses. Yeah, the 180 there. Yeah, so I think you'll have to scale it down and then fiddle with that.
I see.
Yeah.
Got it. So, right, so we'll scale this down and then put it wherever we need to put it. And then fiddle with the border radius.
And we've got about 10 more minutes, so if you have any last questions for today, we will be here again tomorrow, but if you have any last questions for Pek, throw them in the chat and we'll make sure you get answered.
Yeah, let's do that. So I'm just gonna fiddle with the border radius. Yeah, it's definitely still 180, and
in most cases it is what you
right.
need, but
yeah. Oh, what am I doing? Oh, I'm doing that. Alrighty, yeah, looks much better. But then I also have to fiddle with this guy's border radius. So there's a lot of border radius.
yeah,
I'm actually
maybe
gonna
do one and then copy and paste.
Oh wow, this is 75, 75. Yeah, this is not this is not ideal.
It's for these super round.
Yeah, actually I'm gonna find a better way to do it. I'm gonna delete. We'll figure that out. For now, any last questions? The business of design, yada yada. While we do that, I think maybe I'll throw in another stock image.
Yeah, which image were you thinking? Okay.
Let's see.
Shopping friend.
Shopping, yeah. She'll probably be mostly cut off, 'cause I don't want to focus on her. I don't know. What do you think? Then the bag will be too big. Maybe, maybe not. Let's see. I guess I'll find out.
Nice short key.
Nice.
Short key work.
Yeah, I just want to, I don't want the person to be the focus, right? And then I still have to insert an image of something. So I kind of want to allude to a shopping bag, but not have it be the only focus.
Mm-hmm. Especially you have the bag right on the top.
Right. Yeah, that's just maybe overload.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's just one thought.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's nice too, like how often do you kind of like zoom out and look at the whole page versus like focusing on details?
Mm-hmm. Are you asking me?
Yeah.
How much do you...
Like when you're personally working.
I do it all the time because I want to have a holistic picture and then make sure that the whole thing flows. You don't want to, if you draw, right, you don't want to be so focused on the eyes or the nose and the ears and never zoom out and look how it would all look together. Mm-hmm. You constantly want to check that. So yeah, I'm trying to create that balance, left and right. Kind of go, I might even mess with the order of this because it's like, it's got dark, light again. So I might want to mess with that. Yeah, so that's why you have to kind of check that so that it makes sense. Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I kept the floor in the bag photo because I didn't like the bag being cut off. I actually like the bag whole. I guess that's a personal choice. What do you think?
Oh yeah, because we discussed this before. Yeah, it is just weighing pros and cons, huh?
Yeah.
Sometimes you don't get exactly what you need. But...
Yeah. I could go hunting around for a better photo with a bag on the floor, but, I don't want to spend too much time on that.
Yeah. Have you worked with photographers or anything before? For case studies? Or has your client?
In terms of photography, most of the, ever since the advent of sites like stock.adobe or even prior to that, iStock and stuff, you don't have to do, like these custom shoots anymore. Like, in fact, I think in all the work that we've done, if there's photo needs for stuff like this, it's usually stock photography. And then in only one case, it was like, it had to be a specific, it had to be a photo shoot because they wanted something very specific that they just couldn't find elsewhere.
And this is, again, being scrappy. So.
Yeah, and even big companies are scrappy. They're not going to, like, blow all their budget on the photo shoot, when they still need to design the software product. Yeah. How much hands-on time do you get designing with the design process with clients? These days, very little. So just kind of something to be conscious of, right? The bigger you grow, the more stuff you have to do, less about, I'm more involved in the business of design and the business of running the company, and the company's not just a design company. We do software design and software engineering. I weigh in. I have design feedback for my team. I look at prototypes and mockups, and I look at work in progress. I give feedback, but I don't live in design tools anymore these days.
Do you miss it?
I do. People get all the fun stuff. Our designers get to work on, we work on like smart home projects. We work on, consumer mobile apps for IoT devices. We work on, so like I grew up in Thailand. I used to shop at Central, which is kind of weird. And now we redid the site. I didn't get to work on that. So I don't get to have all the fun. So part of being, a company, a business owner is kind of letting go of those things and having, the other people kind of do the work, and they are the creators now. The business owner is a creator in a different way. they create companies, they create careers, they create opportunities, but they don't no longer create the individual work.
Do you find a lot of similarity in design work and designing your company?
Yes. I actually talked about this in a podcast we're recording, but if you're a user experience designer, you're not just creating the user experience of, this website, like Central. You're creating, if you're in the business of design or have an agency, you have to think consciously about the user experience you have with the customer. Your customer is your user in many ways. My customer is, for example, like Central or our clients. So the experience what is their experience with the Impekable agency is one user experience you have to think about. The designers who work, your employees, your team members, your vendors, your contractors, what is their experience at working at Impekable? So you have to think about crafting that user experience.
Yeah, it's all applicable, huh?
What is the user experience? All our designs, we organize, we group, we create symbols, we name all our layer names, all our screens have names like number sequences, so that developers can follow that. That's what is the, when you hand off designs to a developer from a designer, what is that experience like? We want that to be a smooth experience. And we actually, one of our ratings and reviews, one of the reviews that our customers left us was it was so smooth. He described the process. It was so smooth working with our designers. The developers had a great time because the handoff for the assets was so smooth. So we think about those experiences, all those touch points, not just the end customer who will use this product, but what is the experience of our client? What is the experience of our team members with our company? What is the experience of the developers who get the assets? Yeah. Very holistically.
Well, we have a couple minutes left. In summing up your work, what do you think we're going to work on tomorrow with your
just getting my act together to finish this case study. It's got to be done. I've time capped myself. This has got to be done by the end of the show, and hopefully also post it on Behance. So then it's just done. And then it'd be great to be able to, post it on Twitter and LinkedIn and Facebook. The link to the Behance live site, as another case study.
Awesome.
Yeah. So that's the constraint. It's got to be done. Got to move on.
You got to do the other case studies.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
sure you have a backlog.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, I think any last questions? But yeah, join us tomorrow and Thursday. Tomorrow we'll be doing the design challenge again. So if you are still working on yours and haven't gotten it in, it's going to be exciting to see all the entries continuing. And don't forget, on Thursday we have a portfolio review, which will be really exciting. I think very apt to this topic.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
If you want, I'm very accessible. If you need to reach me to get feedback for business advice, design advice, just find me on LinkedIn, Twitter, pretty easy to find, Behance at Impekable. You can message me there. Although other people also on my team also answer the Behance stuff. Yeah.
So come chat with us again tomorrow. It's been a good discussion, a lot of behind-the-scenes business stuff. I think it's a rare opportunity to get to talk to somebody who's been through all the way from freelance, working at companies, starting your own company, a large company. So, I'm Ash Huang again, Pek Pongpaet. We'll be here tomorrow.
Thank you so much.
Exciting. Yeah, join us.
Awesome.
Bye.